My name's Sarah Piampiano, and I am a professional triathlete. When I was a kid growing up, my dream was to win Olympic medals in both the Summer and Winter Olympics. For me, that dream didn't really pan out. After college, I started a career in finance. Although I loved my career, the long hours and lifestyle just ended up leading me down a path that wasn't particularly healthy. One of my friends from college and I made a bet about competing in a triathlon. And I went and I did the race in 2009 and I just absolutely fell in love with the sport. It was a life-changing moment for me. And in 2012 I made a massive leap of faith and became a full-time professional triathlete. It completely inspired me and reignited the competitive juices that I had had for so long as a kid. It inspired me and motivated me to make changes in my life that were going to lead to a healthier and happier lifestyle for myself. Really, anything is possible if you're willing to take the chance.
Before we get too deep into Sarah's story, let's explain to the viewers at home exactly what a triathlon is. A full-distance triathlon is made up of 3 athletic events, one right after the other. First, competitors start out on a 2.4-mile open water swim. Now that's followed up by 112 miles on a bicycle. And if that wasn't enough, we lace up our running shoes and end things with a full marathon. Yep, that's right. A 26.2-mile run. So in total, that's 140.6 miles of swimming, biking, and running, all in the same day. Although there are a few different kinds of triathlons out there, people at home are most likely familiar with the Ironman brand, probably the world's toughest one-day sporting event. Ironman holds its world championships each year in beautiful Kona, Hawaii. That's on the Big Island, where over 2,000 participants give it their all for the title of Ironman. Pros like Sarah and amateurs alike compete for entry in over 24 qualifying events around the globe every year. See, Ironman started back in the 1970s. Originally, there were 3 events in Hawaii: the Waikiki Rough Water Swim, the Oahu Bike Race, and the Honolulu Marathon. See, the problem was, the winners of these 3 events all thought they were the fittest athlete in Hawaii. Naturally, there had to be a clear-cut winner. So in 1977, they decided to combine all these events into one, and voila, the Ironman was born. Okay, let's get you back to Sarah's story now. How about we start at the beginning?
So I come from a family of 3. I have 2 older, family of 5, but I have 2 older brothers. And when I was a kid, the only thing I wanted to do was play with my brothers.
We were an athletic, sports-oriented family, and the boys wanted to hike, they wanted to ski, they wanted to water ski.
They were always really hard on me. My oldest brother is 9 years older than me, and then my next brother is 6 years older than me, and so they didn't really want to be playing with their little sister.
They do like to challenge one another constantly.
Everything from athletically we compete, but over absolute minutia as well. So Sarah certainly came up in a good tradition of athleticism.
And if they were going to do it, Sarah was going to do it.
That motivated the hell out of me, and I was relentless. I would never give up. I would never cry. I would never say I was hurt. I would never say I was tired. I just would try and try and try and try and try until I succeeded.
She was incredibly persevering and resilient and determined to succeed.
They would set these rules that they would only let me play with them or do what they were doing if I could do whatever it was as well as they could do it. If I cried or if I showed weakness, it was all over. There was no way that they were going to let me hang out with them. I was skiing by myself by the age of 2 because my brothers were skiing and I just wanted to do whatever it was that they were doing.
Her brothers water skied and she wanted to ski, and the boys would put her on skis and start the motorboat, and immediately she'd be dragged under the water. Sarah would hold on for dear life and keep trying to get up. It was so painful watching it. You just wanted to say, give up, you have to give up. And she would say, I won't give up.
I don't know, it's just like this tough little kid, and a lot of that was just because of my brothers. And they just totally abused me. Well, I'll play with you if we play karate. And then he would like karate chop me in the face and give me a bloody nose, and I would just get up and take more of it. Or we would play hide and go seek, and he would zip me up in one of their hockey bags, and then they would just leave me there for hours. And one time they hung me by my shirt in the woods on a tree and left me there hanging.
My brother and I, by abusing my sister at every turn to make her life as hard as possible, we like to think that that's the reason she's able to survive the adversity that she is because of all the training that we put in for her in her early years.
You know, they would ride their two-wheeler bikes with no shirts on, so until I was like 10, I rode around my two-wheeler with no shirt on. It's like, I used to try pee standing up when I was a kid. True story. You know, I really looked up to them, and I wanted them to accept me, and I think it kind of shaped me into the person I am today. But it was fun. We had a good time growing up. Well, in high school, I was really athletic. I mean, I was a nationally ranked runner, and I was really into ski racing, and those were kind of my two main sports. And definitely my freshman and sophomore year, and kind of all the years before that, I was like this perfect child, and you know, got great grades and did everything right.
Sarah, throughout school, was always what I would call diligent, persevering, and passionate about what she did. She was initially very involved in skiing, and even as a small kid was a runner.
I had to kind of make a decision whether or not I wanted to focus on running or focus on ski racing, and I was pretty burned out of running, so I ended up choosing ski racing.
Even when she was not particularly gifted in a sport or a particular subject at school, she poured herself into trying to master the material, and that was just simply her personality, that if she was going to do it, she was going to give it all she had.
And then in college, I kind of came back to running, and I ended up competing in cross country and track in college, and also did ski racing as well, so I was a 3-season athlete. But for me, you know, my focus on athletics was really when I was in high school, and that's where I was really serious about sports. And when I got to college, I worked hard and I raced hard, but I wasn't as serious about it as I was when I was younger.
I would say that Sarah during college was pretty similar in terms of her friendship style.
When I got to college, I think my priorities just changed a little bit, and I started focusing more on academics and, you know, where my career might take me outside of athletics.
She typically has a handful of really close friends and likes to go party also, but keeps a network of acquaintances and friends around her that she can tap into when she wants to, but she really just shares private details and intimate relationships with a few people that are close to her.
I mean, I was in college to have fun and enjoy myself and study hard and work hard, but really enjoy the experience. And so yeah, I mean, I partied pretty hard in college, and that also involved smoking some cigarettes.
Did Sarah party? A little bit. Yes.
And I would like go to parties and sort of like sneak around and smoke cigarettes because I didn't want anybody to see me, because I was supposed to be setting a good example, but
So she was super busy, but she managed to work hard and play hard, and so in her time off, she was really rebellious and just liked to let her hair down and kind of, you know, go get after it on the dance floor kind of thing.
Once I graduated from college, I started a career in finance, and for me that evolved into me working in investment banking in mergers and acquisitions, and that just was a lot of hours spent in the office. I mean, I think on average in my first 3 years I worked somewhere between 100 to 120 hour weeks, which seems like it's completely impossible, but it actually is possible. I mean, I only slept 1 or 2 hours a night, and for me that's really where, you know, things kind of went downhill. I mean, in college I definitely partied. I definitely would kind of go out and smoke casually, but where the whole smoking thing really came in was when I got out of college.
And then she also developed this crazy habit of smoking, like, I think it was almost 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Literally, it was so disgusting. Like, her clothing stunk, and she stunk. I mean, she did stink because she stunk of smoke.
I was working in banking, and you know, when you're working in banking, it's a high stress, high pressure environment, and there's not really a lot of opportunity to go and take a break. I mean, I think if you told your boss or, you know, one of the senior associates or vice presidents that you were working with that you were gonna, you know, go for a walk, they wouldn't really let you do that. But if you said you were gonna go down and smoke a cigarette, that was kind of an acceptable thing to do.
You couldn't get through a meal without her, you know, going to smoke a cigarette, or she really liked it, actually, also. Like, I think she kind of saw the cigarettes as my guess is she probably saw the cigarettes as a companion.
So for me, it kind of just started with going down and smoking 1, and then it turned into going down and smoking 2 at a time, and then it turned into smoking 3 or 4 at a time, just to kind of have the opportunity to take a break.
She smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. It was crazy. So Sarah was in a relationship where she really respected the man that she was with and loved the idea of a life with him, but just couldn't get herself to feel it. It made her extremely anxious. She actually lost a lot of weight. I don't think she was eating because she was so stressed and anxious and upset, because she actually really respected her fiance. And she got down to under 100 pounds. I think she probably was close to 90 pounds. She was really, really thin, and it was really scary. And she was exhausted, you know, at any moment that she could, she'd just conk out on the sofa or the couch, or she wore herself down to a really scary point. She found the strength to call off the wedding. And it was just a couple weeks before the wedding. And her fiance wanted to try to make it work. But ultimately, she couldn't.
In 2009, I was out at a bar in New York with my friend Todd. And he and I had been friends in college. And he had gained about 50 pounds.
We had a friend from college who became really overweight. And in order to shift that, he signed up for a triathlon out in Long Island, I think. And Sarah, in order to kind of like encourage him / stoke the fire, said, "Hey, Toddykins, I bet you that I can beat you without training at all."
Since I just hadn't really done anything athletic in so long, and I was drinking and smoking my cigarettes, and I thought, I can do that. I'll go do it with you. And so we ended up talking about who could beat who, and we were with a group of friends. And it turned out that, you know, as the conversation rolled on, Todd and I ended up betting one another who could beat the other person in this race.
Sarah, who literally was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day and drinking like a fish, and had not exercised probably in years, practically. I think she took like 1 spin on a bike that was kind of like broken, and she went for like a jog in Riverside Park. She didn't swim. She hadn't swam. And she went to this race and like totally killed it.
I mean, it was a life-changing experience for me. I I kind of got the competitive juices started flowing again, and I was just, I got that high from when you go out and you work really, really hard. It's something very physical, and you just feel really good about yourself.
With like, no preparation, and it just hit her that it reminded her that actually she's really talented. I mean, she was like an all-state runner in high school. She skied with Olympic athletes. She went to ski high school. She always had this kind of nugget of talent that she kind of neglected for her professional years, and it just reminded her that not only was she really freaking good at it, but she loved it. And I think that got the fire going.
And people just seemed to be so supportive of one another, and the culture just was something that really inspired me. And so I walked away from that event wanting to make some changes in my life. And one of those changes was stopping smoking, and I just stopped immediately. When I made the decision to start racing triathlon professionally, I did feel supported, but I think there were a lot of questions from a lot of people.
When Sarah made the decision that she wanted to become a professional athlete, that provoked some consternation in my mind.
If I could use 3 words to describe Sarah, the first one would be passion. She's very passionate about what she does and what she commits herself to.
I thought it was great that she was able to excel and enjoy the sport of triathlon as an amateur. She had a wonderful job, and this was a great outlet to make her physically fit and to lend some passion to a life that otherwise would may over time be somewhat stultifying, going to work every day, coming home, going to bed, going back to work. It was fun to have a passion in life.
She was passionate in her youth about skiing. She was passionate about her career in finance, and passionate about triathlon.
I worked in investment banking, and I had a very secure and well-paying job, and I think that a lot of people felt that I was making a mistake by taking on something that was so risky and financially so tenuous.
When she announced that she wanted to quit her job and become a professional triathlete, I was hesitant about supporting that choice. I thought it was potentially simply a wrong choice.
When Sarah quit her job to become a professional triathlete, I did not think it was the right call. I felt like she should have adopted a little bit more of a gradual transition to trying to become a pro.
She asked her company, HSBC, if she could go part-time with them and train part-time. She actually reduced her workload, I think it was to 3 days a week. And then every couple of weeks she had a week off so that she could actually go away and train for periods of time.
I think in retrospect, she made the right decision. I think it's one of those things that you either are doing it 100% or you shouldn't be trying at all, because all the other people that are out there competing for those spots on the podium are going 100%. And the idea that you're going to be 90% committed but still try to keep a job on the side, you're just not going to be able to get to the elite level among the pros. And I think I understand that now. So I'm glad she didn't follow my advice when she opted to become pro.
In terms of what my expectations were for Sarah in her professional career, I can only say that the odds are for any professional athlete, whether you're a golfer or whether you're a triathlete, or whether you're a baseball player who aspires to be in the major league, the odds are that you are not going to be the one to succeed, no matter how hard you work, no matter how good you are, no matter what level of talent you have. That's just the statistical reality.
So ultimately she did really well, obviously, in her performance as an amateur, and she decided that she wanted to go pro. She flew out to San Francisco and convinced Matt Dixon to take her on, which was no small feat. And ultimately she decided that she wanted to transition to triathlon full-time.
I had low expectations. I felt that Sarah's chance for success was pretty low, not because I doubted her ability or her commitment, but because statistically speaking, it was a long shot.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and can't wait to see you for the next one, which we'll talk about my first year as a professional triathlete. But in my mind, I'm thinking, no, this guy is gonna coach me. Kind of like the way that I approach everything in my life. I don't take no for an answer. I don't fail. So when Matt said that he wasn't gonna coach me, that wasn't an acceptable answer to me. He was gonna coach me.
I've talked about Sarah's motivation being her weakness, and it was right at the point, knowing that she was ready for a great result, that we took the decision at the crossroads to push on a race, and it was a risk.
So actually Sarah's grandfather went to the same college that I go to, so you know, through that and the whole East Coast kind of vibe, I have a couple mutual friends with her, and she heard that I was, you know, trying to get into triathlons, and was really, really helpful, you know, trying to guide me and give me some advice. And she is someone, of course, who's really understanding if you're coming from somewhere that this isn't your thing and this isn't what you've been doing your whole life, that, you know, you can build up and get to an extremely high level at it, as she has.